Hey, I'm about to show you something. You get enough? She said she want to take some photos in her new bikini. So I don't mind being the photographer. Baby, go ahead. ¿Tú quieres fotos, mami? Okay, no problem. Yo estoy listo. Yo magnífico. Yo similar de fotográfico profesional. Sí, sí. ¿Tú listo? Ahora, okay. I gotta turn this off and take some pictures. ¿Tú listo, mami? Ay, wow. ¡Wepa! Mami, ¿qué es lo que? Wow, wow, wow. All right, give me a minute. I'm gonna come back. I gotta take some pictures. I got some work to do. I'll get ready. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. What's going on, you guys? This is Dennis Sperling, and I'm back at it, man. I'm back on you like a 6'4" Chevrolet, man, hitting switches, baby. So as you guys see, I've been taking the liberty to just kind of be who I normally am. You know, those of you guys who know me, I'm pretty laid back. I like lowriders. I drink a little bit. I like the barbecue. I like a little fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you know, the one thing about me is I don't hide from anything. I don't hide my past. You guys know I'm from the hood. You know, and a lot of people would be ashamed to say that, especially being an attorney. Not only that, but I'm proud of where I came from. Of course, I would want things to be better, you know, where I came from. Of course, I would not want to have all that trauma that I had to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's what makes me who I am. It's the reason why so many of you all have gravitated to my page. And I thank you all for that. Today, the first thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge all my members. Swing Out Museum, welcome. T.D. Tut, Urban Eagle, shout out to you. One of my guys has been here for a minute. Let's see who else we got. All my people, man, just go ahead and hit the #1 button, man. Make sure you remember to always put yourself first. That's why we hit the #1 button. This page is typically geared for men to talk, specifically Black men, but because of the tragic loss of Kevin Samuels, I've taken it upon myself, at least sometimes, to adopt some of these KS fans. So shout out to the KS fans. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, man. So, we're going to give them something. We got to always make sure we take care of our guests. So welcome here, all the KS fans, man. If you came here because of Kevin Samuels, man, make sure you hit the KS button. I'm not Kevin Samuels. I will never be. I don't do relationships. The man was clearly brilliant at what he did. He helped me get in a relationship, one that's substantial. I've never had issues with women. I've always been able to pull a bad one, or two or three or four. But what the man did was give me hope. He gave me hope for women here in the United States, and it just so happens that I met a woman here in the United States. My plan was to move overseas. I was, waiting for my middle son to graduate from high school. Um, the plans were already in place, and I was just gonna bounce. Take my money, take my riches, take all my knowledge, and go overseas. So, and most likely for me, South America, Caribbean, something like that, and get myself one of those women who are from one of those cultures. But Kevin Samuels gave me hope, and that's probably what makes me one of his biggest fans, because I know the man works. I know what he did works. Interestingly enough, Kevin's middle name Roshan. You guys who know Kevin Samuels, his middle name is Roshan. Something I learned, in certain languages, it means the light bearer. And for those of you guys who understand what light means, it's someone who can brilliance is when you can shine light on something that others can't. So, peace to the light bearer. That's just something interesting. I think what we're going to do is there's a lot of things that we're going to learn about Kevin's work. Recently, there's a young woman, a young Latina woman, and I'm going to go ahead and put her information up here. I want you guys to check this out real quick. Hit the number 1 button as we clock in. Good shout out to everybody who's here. And again, this is for my Kevin Samuels fans. I'm going to try and keep his name alive. I know many of you all came here, and you need to be reminded of what this man's work meant to you. You followed him for a reason. You believed in him. And so I'm just going to do my part to try to give that. All of you guys who are Kevin Samuels followers, those of you in the YouTube community, make sure you go ahead and continue to highlight his work. I think that's important. But in the meantime, let's check this out. Let me know if you can hear this. I'm going to start playing it now.
Allie, show me your ring.
Oh, here.
Now, tell me what you do for a living.
Oh, I love my husband.
And how did you get that awesome job?
Well, I became a better human being, and I became feminine and also shocking, submissive.
We would like to get married, but he wants to make sure the investment's good. So he wants to have a kid first and then get married.
He wants you to have his child before he puts a ring on your finger. After you have the child, how quickly could you expect to be married?
Probably
a
like
year? No, how about you being married 6 months or less? We don't do this. That's you're already a year into it. There's no amount of I'll do whatever. I'll have a baby to keep him. You can't make a man be what he doesn't want to be. Sorry.
Was it embarrassing to go on Kevin's show? Absolutely. Did it turn into something positive? I think so. I mean, I really think so. Okay, he gave us some advice. He pointed out some weak spots. We took his advice to heart and we reformed. That's what you're supposed to do when you learn a new perspective that is more helpful than your current perspective.
Okay, Allie, show me your ring.
All right, you guys, we back. Y'all got to make sure you hit the number 1 button. Let me know you can't hear sound. Sometimes I get caught up. My apologies to you all. I'll run I'll owe y'all a commercial for that. So You guys, shout out to the commercial fund. Make sure I remind you to run a commercial, because that was my bad. But anyway, what I was basically saying is this young woman, Allie, points out why the Godfather is undefeated. She's married, and because she followed Kevin Samuels' advice, she appeared on this show. She said even it was embarrassing, but she did it. Now, what did she also say about it? She said, in following his advice, she became a better human being, and she became submissive, right? So you don't expect the immunist to invite her to any more tea parties, I'm sure. But I like to salute this woman for making herself worthy of being a wife. And I hope her husband proves worthy of this submissive woman, because it's very rare to get a modern woman to recommit herself. You guys can't hear me? Hit the number 1 button if you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Let me know. I'm getting feedback. Y'all telling me y'all can't hear me now. Can y'all not hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, guys. Y'all can hear me. Okay. So basically what I'm saying is that, well, let me say this. That story is definitely not going to be on MTO, right? But basically what I was saying is that she followed Kevin's advice. She's now submissive. She became a better human being. And I'd like to, big shout out to that young woman. And I hope her husband proves worthy of this submissive wife that he has, because modern women don't really come in that package anymore. They scoff at the idea of being submissive. Now, many of you guys may remember when she called Kevin Samuels' show. And there was also, and then she's, of course, Latina, but then there's a young Black woman who called Kevin Samuels' show, and she lost 30 pounds, and she listened, and now she's having those results that she wants. They worked hard, they made changes, and they got the results that they wanted. You see, but many people don't know the fact that she's 27 years old and that her husband is 50. Did you guys know that? Allie is 27 years old and her husband, who's a white man, is 50. I listened to the conversation and I understand why he probably wanted her to have a baby. When you're 50 years old, white guy, you probably already had a couple of modern women in your life. They get married, then they decide they don't want to have children, or they only want to have one. Got it. Understand. And so he wanted her to have a child first, but she wasn't. She listened to Kevin. She wasn't going for it. Marry before you carry. Got it. And that's a wonderful thing. Now, what this also proves is a point that I've been trying to explain to you guys, that the vast majority of Kevin Samuels' fan base is non-Black. Yes, he has fans all over the world. And in fact, I think he was bigger in Europe, Australia, and in Africa. And when I say non-Black, I'm only referring to Black Americans. I know we got Black folks over in Africa, and the Caribbean and South America. But what I'm saying is the vast majority of Kevin Samuels fans, they're in Europe, they're in Australia, they're in Africa, right? And, even though he was here in the United States amongst us African Americans, he's more popular with them than us. And what I predict is going to happen is the Kevin Samuels fans, they're going to begin to ignore Black American people. They're going to embrace his teachings for themselves, and they're going to benefit from them. That's what I think is going to happen. I had a guy tell me that, Kevin Samuels could have sold out a stadium in Australia. And if you guys don't know anything about Australia, it's basically full of, non-Black Americans. So, and this won't be the first time, right? This won't be the first time we've seen this happen historically. I mean, or biblically. Let's talk about this. And here's something, it's something interesting. We forget that Jesus was Jewish, right? He was a Jewish person. All right. But if you ask Jewish people today, they will tell you that they don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah. So in this regard, he was rejected. And I'm talking about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He was rejected by his own people. Now, by no means am I equating Kevin Samuels to Jesus, Okay, now I will say that he was a prophet, and those of you guys who study the Bible, you know there are major prophets and minor prophets. He was definitely a prophet, you know, because he came and brought a word to a group of people that was necessary at the time. All the prophets are not in the Bible. It's an example of what a prophet does. But the bottom line is, you know, your own people have rejected the wisdom, and the other people will benefit from your wisdom. You know, Kevin Samuels came, you know, he gave this information to Black people, and he gave the solutions for free. But many, not all, many of us demonized him. And there were some who danced on his grave, celebrated his death. Just like there were many Jews who celebrated Jesus' death. Right? So at this point, we should not have any sympathy or time to entertain those people. And when I say those people, I'm talking about these masculine women and these simp panderers, whether they be a preacher, entertainer, whoever. We should have no time for them. Think about that. Now, a question that I have for you guys, and I think this will be an interesting question, is why are there so many modern women who are angry with this young Latina woman, Allie? Why are they so angry with her? That's the question that I have for you guys. But before we get started, we'll run a quick commercial. We'll be right back, and we're going to try to answer that question. Why are these women so angry with this beautiful young woman who has followed Kevin Samuels' instructions and got married? We'll be right back. Y'all make sure y'all contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. All right. You see Uncle D hitting the switches, man. That's what I do. But again, if you guys appreciate this, y'all make sure y'all contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat room. I want you guys to go ahead and line up. And I want my KS fans, all the Kevin Samuels fans, you guys haven't had your favorite YouTuber to speak to. I want you just to come in and talk. You know, let's examine this, you know. Shout out to all the Kevin Samuels fans who I've inherited. I want you guys to come in and let's talk. Talk to me. Tell me what you think. Let's analyze this situation as he would. I have some ideas I want to share with you guys why I think there's so many lovely ladies who are angry. Big shout out to Hit Top Tech. Thank you so much for that super chat. I got to be careful with the commercials I run because they will demonetize this page if I do. And so it'll just be kind of wasting my time. But the link is in the chat room. So here's the thing. Why are there so many people, so many modern women who are angry with this young lady, Allie? And, you know, my determination is this. It's easier to be angry at someone who is getting desirable results than it is to put in the discipline to get those results yourself. So this woman is what modern women want, right? You know, she has a life that they want, and their life is served as proof that they'll never get it unless they're fit, feminine, cooperative, right? They want what she has, but in the same breath, they're unwilling to behave like she behaves. The truth is, Allie, beautiful young woman, 27 years old, and she already was fit, right? She was already, you know, she knew how to act feminine, and now she's acting cooperative, according to her. So it was already set up for her. But there are some women, and apparently she didn't have any children. So, you know, she had all the raw material necessary to do what? To come on in and get that man and lock him down with her femininity. You know, she calls for him to sell out for the femininity. More importantly, she listened and she married a high value white man. Now, there are a lot of black men who are dragging black women because of her post. And a lot of black women don't understand why black men are taking this as a victory. And, you know, even though she didn't marry a black man, it's because she's acknowledging Kevin Samuels helped her and acknowledging that the help that he gave her was tremendous, you know, and it demonstrates that Kevin was accurate, which means he was probably accurate about other things, you know, other things that really bother a lot of modern women. Number one, and you guys have heard him say it all the time, they're going to die alone. And that's painful to hear. I understand why. I get it. Kevin once said that, you know, you're going to go and you're going to die and nobody's going to even come visit your grave. It's going to be like you never existed on this planet. I get that. I understand that. That could be painful. Now, the messenger, Mr. Kevin Samuels, is dead, but his message is still alive and well. Another reason why I think these women are angry is because she's a Latina woman, right? And Latina women are the group of women who are hooking up and marrying black men. And so you got a lot of modern women who are miffed. The thing is, Asian women are marrying white men, Latina women are marrying black men. And so, but as far as black American women, your competition is not, and Kevin used to point this out all the time. He said, your competition is not Becky, your competition is Marisol, right? And Melinda. Those are your competition. That's who's taking your man, because these same women will take that very same man that you said was no good and they'll turn a husband into him. They'll make him into a father. Now, the thing about Latina women, and this is a horrible, wonderful thing to have happen, and I can speak on behalf of myself, getting used to all that love and affection that you receive, because that's just not something I'm used to. You gotta literally get used to a woman who adores you so much that she wants to hug you and kiss you and express that physically all the time. It's a horrible thing to realize that I'm so accustomed to, you know, or we as black, because we were raised by black mothers. And for the most part, black women are, black mothers in America at least, and that's what I can speak on behalf of, are just not that affectionate towards, you know, their children, especially their sons, and even their husbands and boyfriends. And so that's just something that you got to get used to. And that I'm still getting used to it. It's crazy, you know, but a lot of you guys are dealing with that also. But there's a reason why Latina women are basically black women's main competition. You know, another thing you got to understand about Latina women is that they come in so many different varieties. And I have a custom-made commercial for this that I'm going to play a little bit later, because you guys need to see this. You know, you guys need to understand that you've been lied to about so many different things, you know, and one of them is where your people are. You know, we got a lot of people who consider themselves Pan-Africanists, Pan-African, you know, types, but then they don't tell you the whole story. And I just believe that many of them don't know that the vast majority of Africans in the New World do not live in the United States. They don't even speak English. They speak Portuguese and they speak Spanish. And this is an easily verifiable fact by looking at the demographics in South America, Central America, and the Caribbean. But either way, Allie, this lovely Latina, she was just as lost as any other modern woman, irrespective of her race, right? this Latina woman, Allie, is proof that not all American-born Latina women are submissive, right? She learned how to act, and she conformed herself accordingly, right? She became better, right? Just like anybody of any other race, any other group would. You become better when you learn something new, right? So this is what I tell you guys. I know I got a lot of Hispanic homeboys, and they'll tell you that modern women here in the United States are all alike for the most part. I think the difference between Latina women is because they get an influx of new women coming from South America, Central America, and the Caribbean, their culture is reinforced, and that culture being one where they're submissive to their men. So I think that's the one advantage that they do have. Okay. So, but the bottom line is she wasn't that until she talked to Kevin, and Kevin said, no, this is what you got to do. And now what? She's more submissive. She's a better person. Beautiful story, right? Now, here's the thing, and I want to tell you guys this. There are polls that indicate there are more men who want to be married in the Black community than Black women. But what's going on? Well, many Black women just don't want to be married, and that's just something that we have to deal with. And this is why there's more Black men that are married than there are Black women. Look at the statistics. There are more Black men married than are Black women. I get it. I understand it. It's laid out there for you to see. So the question is, and we're going back to the question, why are these lovely ladies of ours so angry? It's just maybe, our lovely ladies just can't be wives, and because they don't want to be, and they only desire to be moms. Maybe that's their goal. And when they see someone like Allie, it kind of burns them the wrong way because it reminds them of what they should do but don't want to do. And, and that is what? Marry before you carry. I get it. Here's another scenario. Maybe these modern women aren't as upset as they are jealous at this woman, and because she's happy with her choices in life. And it forces them to look at themselves and face the disappointment that their choices, the ones that they made, it didn't give them the same results. I get it. Many of them are either unmarried, and they never will be, or they're unhappy in their marriage, and they don't like to follow anyone's advice. That's a problem. And what's going to happen? They are likely the exact opposite of what this young woman is. They're not compliant. They're not submissive. And maybe they're just not good human beings. I don't know. But this is just me trying to figure out why these women are so angry at this woman's success. Here's another one. Unlike most modern women of all races, right? Black American women, they typically don't like to take constructive criticism from strong Black men. Now, some of you guys may not be familiar with this term, but it's called misandry. So I think it's their Afro-misandry that won't allow them to admit that this Black man, Kevin Samuels, had the solutions to their problems. In this regard, they won't submit theoretically, much less to a Black man, much less to a real life Black man. So again, what are we looking at? Their dislike and contempt for ingrained prejudice against Black men will forever prevent them from accepting his advice. That definition is what misandry is, or Afro-misandry. These modern women are lonely and they're proud, and they don't want to admit that the men that they want don't want them. And there are no other groups of men chasing them down to marry them. And so again, they'll die alone. And I think that's why they're angry, because there's no reason to be upset with this woman for her success story. It makes no sense. Now, again, I'm going to open the chat room up. We got a couple of guys down here. Make sure you cam up so we can get you in. And I think this is the thing. I think based on Kevin's work and what I've seen, I think the most important reason why some of these women are angry is because their fates are already sealed. What do you mean? What do I mean by that? They're old. And I'm not saying they're too old to be, workers, employees, but you're too old for somebody to see you as a person they want to start a relationship with. I get it. Everybody has their own taste, but the vast majority of men want young, fit, feminine women. That 50-year-old man that Allie married, she's 27. He didn't run out and get a 45-year-old woman. He wanted a child. So he got a 27-year-old woman. So if a woman is 35, 36, 37, 40 years old, then she's probably too old for him. And when you're at that age and you're hearing, men want fit, feminine, young women to reproduce with, that could make you upset because you realize that your fate is sealed. Here's another one. Some women have multiple children. And some of these women have multiple children by multiple men. So here you are trying to qualify for this Prince Charming, this high-value man who can sweep you off your feet and pay all your bills, and you just don't qualify. And because the things and the actions that you've taken in your life have disqualified you, you're just angry because your fate is sealed. There's no way out of that box. You're looking at your children with resentment. You're upset of all the men that you passed up in your youth. You see these other women basically living out their life, and that time for you is gone past. And so you're filled with regret because you will never qualify for that type of man ever again. And they're caged in their Disney doorknob Kardashian delusions, right? And they're addicted to the insanity that has just gone unchecked. And then here comes this skinny guy from Oklahoma who's basically bursting that bubble and opening up that cage. And they're upset. They're upset. They've been listening for decades. They've been listening to songs on the radio and I Don't Need a Man songs and watching Tyler Perry movies. And they got these unrealistic expectations and scenarios. They've told them that God is going to, make a man for them. That's who he's going to do. And this man that they make is going to submit to them if they just pray hard enough. This is what these women think. And so now they're mad. They're mad because they realize they've been living in a delusional world and there's nobody else to be angry at because Kevin Samuels is gone now. I get it. I understand why they're upset, but life goes on. So we got gentleman DJ Zion Love. We're going to let him in a minute. Anybody else who wants to come in, come on in. And I want to get some Kevin Samuels fans in here. But in the meantime, we'll run a quick commercial. I'll be right back.
Hola. Ellas es mi hermanos de Colombia. Sí. El nombre es de Palanca, Hinta Palanca. Explain for me.
Diana, Ana.
And Ana. Ellas es hermanas. Sí. Y vivo aquí en Colombia, ¿no?
Sí. Raza palenquera.
Ah, palenquera.
Sí.
¿Dónde está Palenquera?
Por María la Baja.
Okay. Gracias. Pues.
Claro, se cuida.
All right, that was Cartagena. I had to find that. Learned a lot. I never thought that that was my first time in Cartagena, Colombia. And the thing about it is, you really don't know until you go. So I went down to Cartagena and I heard that there were black people there, but what I did know is that the vast majority of the people there are of African descent. And when I say African descent, I mean unmistakable African. Okay, I mean, look at me. Okay, I'm a red. Let me say, I don't want to cuss it out. I'm a red Negro at best. You see what I'm saying? I'm red. My granddaddy was red. His daddy was red. But these people are undeniably African, and so you gotta understand that, man. You got to go out and see your people. But anyway, man, DJ Zion Love, welcome to the broadcast. Why are these women so angry with this young Latina woman?
Yeah, man. First of all, peace and blessings to you. Respect
Okay, brother.
Maximum respect, brethren. I am on the Jamaican still, seeing, but I live in, but I'm in New York. Yeah, man. I've been in New York since '87, so you know I grew up.
Okay.
Most
Big up to the yard man, you know.
At the end of the day, man, these Kevin Samuel, you know, opened my eyes. I have a big family, you know. I have 8 sisters. I got 7 brothers. You understand? And ever since I started watching Kevin Samuel's show, it opened up everything around me, even my own fam, my own sisters. I started seeing different personality. Every woman that Kevin Samuel talk about is literally it's in my family. Every woman, all they make mistake. Every woman, the shaming thing. It exposed my own mother. What she been doing to my dad. And I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe my mother been shaming my dad. Because they've been married since 1964. They're still married. They both Tauruses. They both bulls. So they clashing. But I see all this thing, the shaming, the guilt. Even my own wife. I'm married for 17 years, man. I got 3 sons. You know what I'm saying? I met my wife when I was 20. She was 21. So you know, I never get a chance to. But you know, my wife is good. I got 3 boys, like I said. But even herself did not like Kevin Samuel for nothing because you know he's a man and she's watching the tone. But I explained to her, I said, listen, man, you can't watch the tone. It's like medicine. When you're sick, the medicine tastes bad, but it's good for you. So you have to understand that. And at my workplace, the same thing. I see these women around. Yo, I stopped talking to women. I stopped giving women my non-sexual attention. I cut all that thing off, man. I don't say nothing to them unless it's a hi to me first. You understand? So these women nowadays, you know, they were raised wrong, pretty much, you know. And when you have a woman that keep on making the same mistake, choosing the wrong guy over and over, and now they have to suffer, and then all of a sudden, mama get the credit because she struggled. No, mama get the credit, no credit because she's one picking the wrong guy, and then the family got to struggle. That's the problem. They don't like they don't like to hear the truth. The truth hurts, and I'm like a mini Kevin Samuel myself because I speak the truth. You know, anybody in my family, they don't come at me, they don't call me unless they have to be right. They can't call me for no nonsense. Right. You know, all the family members who are being bad, all my nieces and nephews who've been bad, they don't mess with me because they know once they come to DJs and I love, they got to measure twice before they cut. They can't come to me. You understand?
Yeah.
So I really miss this guy, man. I really miss him. And I thank you, you know, for representing, you know, Kevin Samuels. You know, I know you're the Ice King, and I gladly, when I hear you, man, it's like I'm in the army. I've never been in the army before, but hearing you, I know you're a king and you're a general, brethren, for real. Yeah. More fucking blessing to you, man. Yo, this thing is good stuff. Like I said, these women nowadays, like I said, they know the truth. The truth hurt, and they don't want accountability. Is like kryptonite. They don't want to accept responsibility. That's the bottom line. They know right from wrong. They know even if Kevin Samuel died, they still gonna have the same issue. Nothing gonna change. You understand? Nothing gonna change. But this is the wake-up call. Kevin Samuel was like a Bob Marley to me. You know, when Bob Marley was alive, especially in Jamaica, Jamaica never respect him. When he died, they respect him. Yeah, they never respect Bob Marley. They put like artists like Dennis Brown, John Oates, Gregory Isaac over Bob Marley when he was alive. And when he died and they saw all the white people, all the hippies, John Lennon, all the man, Eric Clapton hang with him, all of a sudden now, oh, we got somebody important, you know. That's what happened. So Kevin Samuel is like the Bob Marley, you know. He's like a prophet. And I believe, I'm not a conspiracist, but I strongly believe, man, he touched the machine. He woke up the machine. He touched somebody's money with his experience. Somebody propaganda false thing was selling. He exposed it. You know what I'm saying? But he's just a prophet, and God know what he's done. You know what I'm saying? God know that, you know, his mission was fulfilled, and all who never hear are gonna learn the hard way. They're gonna wish Kevin Samuel. They're gonna look at that YouTube every day and see the red thing on to see if he's live, and know he's not live anymore. That's when they're gonna respect him, man, for real. So, you know, I mean, these women are, nowadays, like I said, these selfish mothers, man. And you go back to the Bible days, man. You know what I'm saying? It go back to the Bible. God spoke to Adam and Eve. Eve still trying to get away. That was the main thing. She know better than that. That's why I always have this problem. Like, why Adam got to get blamed, man? Eve started the thing first. You know what I'm saying? She should hold that blame, not him. I guess.
Well, because Adam, and I want to hear you speak, but it's because God gave Adam the commandment. He never spoke to Eve.
Oh, okay.
And so because Eve did it, okay, got it. Eve did it, but I didn't tell you to do it. See, we could have got rid of Eve, and he could have had him 2 wives if he needed to be.
That's what I'm saying. I know. I think Adam might simp for a second.
He fell short because he submitted to his wife.
Yes.
Desires, as opposed to heeding what the Lord had to say. And that's
I think.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I think he's simped. He did a little simp.
First evidence.
First simp.
Biggest
you simp right there.
And that lets you know how dangerous simping is. Why be a man? Why be a husband if you don't have control over your house? And then now a serpent gets in your wife's ear and leads her the wrong way, and you too much of a simp to correct her and bring her back in her place. This is the problem that we have as Black American men. Now, I know in Jamaica is a lot different. I've been to Jamaica. I know how things are handled in Jamaica. You got some simps there, but the culture does not allow. Now, you got some strong women down there who've been listening to a lot of American TV. They've been watching a lot of movies. They've been Americanized. And even now, it's a lot of that strong, independent, I don't need a man stuff going on. But because Jamaica doesn't have the technology and the facility, those women gonna need a man. And so they have to submit. And when you bring those women over here, and it sounds like your whole family is full of Jamaican women. Now that
I'm at that fact, my father Rastafarian, right? Rastaman, no joke, right? My mother, she was like, see, I had a balance. I was in a Catholic school in Jamaica. Then my father was a Rastafarian, and his mother and father, his father was a preacher. A matter of fact, his mother and father is buried in front of the church right now in Jamaica. When you go to the church, the graveyard is right there. So he grew up in the church, but he fled as a Rasta man, and his own family disowned him because he became Rasta. His own mother on a deathbed disowned him. That's how bad it was back in the days. You know what I'm saying? So now my mother was under my father's rule until she came to America. Then she switched it up on him.
Yeah,
she switched it up. She switched it up on him, and it was so sad because she know that this can't fly in Jamaica. But what happened the next?
She turn a Yankee woman, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Yankee woman still. Yeah, straight up Yankee woman. Yeah. Blazing fire, my father, man, for real. But now, both of them still at it. And the next thing too, another thing that affect like these women, I think the social media, especially in the islands, we call this one culture diffusion. When you have when the cable system hit the islands, it did affect everything in Jamaica. Everything, the food, the way, the women, the videos, the hip hop, everything affect them. Everything affected. So it's like I said, these women have this pride, they have ego, they have a lot of masculine ego mentality. They're trying to, like Kevin Samuels says, they're trying to swing their, penis, but you got to put it up. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to let it out, but at the end of the day, like I said, these women know, but they know Kevin Samuel is the truth. They know Kevin Samuel is the medicine. They know he's medicine. He's medicine. He's, you know what I'm saying?
And the thing you bring up, DJ Zion Love, is that this, I'm gonna say, feminism, this modern woman thing, is spreading around the world. And the reason that a lot of men are choosing women who don't speak English is, and I tell this is a joke I tell in Spanish, Inglés es la lengua de diablo. Basically, it says English is the language of the devil, right? And so these people are, you see the TV shows, the music, you hear all these simp songs, oh baby, I love you, all that foolish stuff.
Oh yeah, simping.
And so what happens is these women are programmed to think, well, if she does that, I can do that. And if they speak English, it makes it easier to transfer that information. You can go down to the Dominican Republic, and they do have a little bit of that in there, but because some of the stuff is lost in the translation, it's not as bad. And so, and same thing in Colombia and some of these other places. The other thing is the men are building the technology that is making men unnecessary. She don't need a man in America because she got 911, the grocery store down the street. She got a job paying her $42,000 a year. If she lose a job, she got a welfare check. So she yeah.
And guess what? That's what I do for a living. I'm a fraud investigator in New York City.
You really? Oh man, you got to come back and tell us some stories, man.
Yeah, yo, listen. I'm a fraud investigator for in social services, man. Yo, listen, man. That thing is serious business, man. Serious business.
Man. Let's run a quick commercial, man. I'm gonna be right back, bro. That's a good one.
Apparently, I'm in need of a massage, so this nice lady is come up to give me one. Hold on a minute. Hold on. What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? I just bought it. What is it? I don't know what it is. You got to tell me what it is. Okay, I don't know what's going on now. I'm so confused. Colombia!
All right, man. We'll get DJ Zion Love to come the chance to come back in. Yeah, man. Y'all gotta enjoy your life. I hope y'all are paying attention to the messages that I put on the side of these commercials. But let's get the brother back in here. You said so much, and I want to make sure that they didn't just, I know you probably get a lot of people. Hey, you a Jamaican? Speak that Jamaican. I want to. They get caught up into how you sound and not listening to what you're saying.
Hey, man, don't understand the real thing, Cause I know we Jamaican and we set the trend every time. See?
Oh my God!
We fire upon them. Pure fire, more fire upon them. Cause you don't know where they rerun things.
All right, man. All right. So, but he said basically that his mom, when she came to the United States, she switched up on his dad. Stuff that she would never pull down in Jamaica. She pulling it on her dad, and yet they've been married since the 60s, right?
64.
Oh man. So they've been married over almost. Well, that is 48 years. Woo,
yeah, my mother and father was at the Brady. My mother, my mother and father was at the Brady Bunch because my father had 2 sons and 1 daughter, and my mother had 3 daughters, and then together they make 9.
Okay.
So I came after when they were married. I came in. We had 5 brothers and 4 daughters between both of them when they were married. But before they were had 3 kids of their own. So it's a big family. I got tons of nieces and nephews, man. I got all kinds of nieces and nephews with every personality you think on this earth. I got good, bad, evil, good, everything in my family. My family is the whole world. I don't need enemies. I got everything in my family. I got literally enemies in my whole family, man. Everything in my family. I don't need. If I want to smoke, it's right there in my family. I don't need to go nowhere. It's that big.
My God, brother. So tell me the type of things your mother did that she did in America that she would never do in Jamaica.
She do like shaming language. Like she would say that, back in the days, like my father, how much women he had and all kind of thing like that. And if it wasn't for me, y'all wouldn't come. I said, Mama, don't say these things, So when I watched, I really know it was kind of shameful. But when I watched Kevin Samuel and see what he was talking about, and I looked around, I was like, oh my God, he gonna shave. Because remember, my mother met my father with 3 children. He didn't have to take her. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he, although he has 3 children, he married a wife. He married a wife and made 9 kids with her. You never heard that before. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they came from the silent generation, because they both born. My mother is 37. My mother is 3 years older than my father, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But so like I said, my father did his best. My mother came to America, get the job in Canada, bring us up. So she reminded that, when he came to America now, I didn't have to get you all the shaming stuff. That's the only thing I didn't like, you know what I'm saying? And she was shaming.
Why couldn't she pull that in Jamaica?
Because my father was like straight. My father, he was tough love. He was like a mini Hitler mixed with a freaking Putin. Put it that way, you know what I'm saying? Combination is lethal. But he was tough love. He don't play. He was military, man. He didn't play.
I want you guys to listen to DJ Zion because this is what I've been telling you. Black American men are too soft. You're too soft. You're too compliant. You listen to too much. You're too. The word is egalitarian. You see what I mean? And what happens what happens when you come to this country is you're expected to be like that. But in places like Jamaica, the Caribbean, South America. Many of our African brothers will tell you the same thing. Russia, some of these different places, men are not going for that. They are definitely not that compliant. All of this, I believe Kevin signed shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. They shut all that down, you know. And so I want to hang in there for a minute, DJ Zion Love. I really appreciate you bringing that point. I'm telling you guys, until you start traveling around and immersing yourself in the culture of other groups, especially patriarchal places, this black man, you would, unless DJ Zion start talking, you would not know him from any other black man in America. But culturally, he's different, because at least he's seen or knows how it's supposed to go. And that's why he acts that way. Some of us just have it naturally. I knew I wasn't going for it. That's a large reason why I couldn't stay married to my wife, because I'm like, I'll be honest with you, this ain't gonna work. This is gonna explode in destruction if I stay in this marriage any longer. And so a lot of you guys, you kick yourself in the butt because your marriage failed. But what's worse? Getting a divorce or throwing your wife out the third floor of your building and then going to prison forever, or letting her get you so upset that now you're going upside her head because she's a modern woman, and you just, something in you tells you, I'm not going to submit to this woman. I'm not going to succumb to the shaming language. So you're going to respond. And I'm telling you guys, don't do that. The best thing to do is recognize you made a mistake, get out the marriage and move forward. It's not the end of life. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's just real man-to-man talk, because look, relationships are not easy. And if you have a woman who's in your life and she's combating with you, that's like having two men in the house. She's as masculine as you are, and all that's going to happen is when you two put two masculine forces together, it's going to be a fight. And unfortunately, the judge is not going to try to hear your side of the story. Society is not going to hear your side of the story. And then you're going to end up in jail for it, or worse. You see what I mean? So just keep that in mind when I'm telling you guys it's not your fault because we had a brother come on and I'm going to get to you right quick, Barracuda, but we had a brother come on the other day, and I tried to explain to the brother, yeah, you got a divorce when you're young. I understand. It's not your fault. Stop kicking yourself in the butt for it. Nobody prepared you for this. Nobody told you what was going to happen. You got out the divorce. Thank God you got out. You didn't go to jail. You don't have these issues that a lot of brothers have. You got brothers on YouTube right now with DV charges, dozens of them. And the reason, and let me tell you the psychology behind that. You think you can change these women by some sort of physical discipline. You want to put her in a place. You want to make her submit. She's not going to do that. And some strange, weird sense of love tells you to stay. Don't love women that much that you feel like you got to put your hands on. Love yourself enough to recognize this woman is not going to change. She's a modern woman. She's not for me. She might not even be fit for marriage. And I married her. I entered into a relationship with her. That was a mistake. But I'm going to be man enough to back out of this relationship and deal with whatever consequences. Because freedom is the new rich. And the last thing you want is to jeopardize your freedom because you try to stay in a relationship past its expiration date. Just keep that in mind, guys. I just want y'all to keep that in mind. And we'll maybe revisit that another day. My man, the Barracuda, how you doing, fam?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Elder?
Oh, I ain't that much older. I'm an elder guy.
I listen. I do it because I want you to know there's still respect between the young men and the elders. I know it's not as prevalent as it used to be, but you know,
who I think is. I think Dr. Claude Anderson is an elder. I think Minister Louis Farrakhan is an elder. I think there are other people who are elders. I'm 40, man. I'm not that much older than you guys. I just have experienced a lot more, and I'm just willing to speak. I'm not telling you guys anything y'all don't already think. Y'all already think the same things I'm telling. The reason I know is because I spent 12 years on Facebook, and I've listened to my brother speak, and I know what you think. You might not be able to have the freedom to say what I can say because maybe your job won't allow it. Maybe there are people looking. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just your voice, just like any other advocate. You know, I started off just an advocate for black men. That's what I started doing. And all I'm doing is taking your arguments and capturing them and spreading them around the world. That's it. That's it. So that's why I tell you guys, all praises go to the Most High, you know, but at the end of the day, man, this is your message I'm sending back to you from your other brothers. This is how we're comparing notes. You understand what? The honest truth is I've never had problems with women other than a divorce and my baby mama from Jamaica. Shout out to her.
What?
Yeah,
you got Jamaican woman, man?
Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, man, my baby mama, Lord Jesus. So I know plenty of Jamaican women, man, over there in St. Mary.
But, St. Mary? Okay, I'm from St. Catherine area.
Yeah, you might be my son's uncle or something like that, bro. But anyway, but the bottom line is, man, I've never had these issues, you know, and the reason being is because in my younger years, I didn't focus on running after women. I focused on chasing money and chasing success and getting that education. So by the time I got to the point where I was ready to settle down, I had all the marbles. It's like, what you gonna do? You gonna submit or you gonna get replaced? I'm not chasing you.
Amen.
You know? And it comes from the trauma that I went through as a young man. You know, getting shot at, getting set tripped on, growing up hard, never living in a household where there was domestic violence and all kind of crazy. I never wanted anybody to have control over my destiny. So what did I do? I had to carve a place out in my world, my own house, my own business, my own cars, my own money, so that I could have control of my life, so I could keep it calm, and so that my children wouldn't have to exist with what I went through. So I tell you guys all the time, I understand angry, I understand hate. Hate is what drove me for the first 35, 40 years of my life. You see what I'm saying? Until I got my children, and then that hate began to dissipate, because you can't allow hate to be your fuel, because it will eventually corrode you. It will destroy you. It's like cancer. And many of you guys are angry. You're angry with your mothers. You're angry with the father that you thought you had or didn't have. You're disappointed, and you let that drive you. But at some point, you gotta let that dissipate. But let's go back to Brother the Barracuda, and then we got DMPA, traditional V model, and then David Shakur. Brother Barracuda, man, what would you like to add to this conversation, bro?
All right. So I was gonna say, yeah, I was a fan of Kevin's. I started watching a lot of people that shared the same similar mindset as myself. And after being called him quite a few times, like, who you guys calling me? Let me check him out. I'm like, this guy is 10 times more on point than I do, and he's willing to take the risk I wouldn't take. So don't call him me. One of the first things when he passed, I was aware, like, who's gonna save our women from themselves now? And then I, was like, dang, he's gone. But based on your topic, though, I mean, jealousy, you pretty much covered a lot of things I wanted to say, but jealousy is one of the main things. And plus, this society has told women, don't listen to men. So if you see another woman who's actually listening to a man and winning, it's like a shot in the foot. And our women especially don't like constructive criticism, to be told what to do. They don't like to be wrong. And you can ask them, a lot of them, are you moving like you're perfect? They'll say no, but they're losing like they're afraid to lose or afraid to take constructive criticism. And what they got to realize is, I was raised, if you love something, you critique it so that it can do better than you, the best version of itself. And we got these women who will take it to the death, just, I'm right, no matter what. And when they see somebody else win, it's like, dang. And that pride kicks in. You still don't want to listen. And
so I'm going to give you guys, many of you guys are new to what is called the Black Manosphere. I've actually been studying this for about 8 years now. What you're referring to is female-owned group preference. In my books, Rules to Live By, in the section, those of you guys who have my books, I refer to it in this section right here when I talk about love. Basically, what I say is women always get along except when they don't. But it's referred to as female-owned group preference. What does that mean? That means that women typically stick together. And so when you have a woman who is not toting the line, she's not towing the line, they're trying to shame her back into towing the line. Remember, women go to the bathroom in groups for a reason. They're herd. They're basically like a herd. They will take each other's side. Have you ever been in a conversation with a woman who Like she don't even know the woman on the screen. It might be a TV show or a movie or whatever. She doesn't know who this is. But for some reason, she's siding with this woman against the man. That's an example, right? That is a survival technique that has been inbred in women for millions of years. It's called female own group preference. It's how they were socialized. And you know, Kevin BGS said this. He said Kevin Samuels wasn't the originator of the manosphere. Kevin Samuels was our avatar. In other words, he was a person out front, and he took all these talking points from all these people. He studied everybody so deeply. He studied me. He studied BGS. He studied Mumia Obsidian Ali. He studied the lead attorney. He studied MTR. He studied all of us. He studied what we had. There are others he studied. But the bottom line is he took all that information and he pushed it out into the world in that salesman type way of speech that he had, and it was just irrefutable. But the information is there for you to learn on your own. It's called female own group preference. And if you guys want to talk about that more, and I talk about it in my books. But other than that, man, go ahead, Barracuda, the Barracuda, and I'm gonna go back to DMPA.
Okay, I was gonna say, just like him, you shortened up you shortened it up for me, because I used to go into big explanations of this and that, and simple concept right there.
Yeah. No, it's so much. You know, they used to the manosphere used to be this dark corner of the internet where all these incels hung out. But little did you know, you had people like me. I'm an attorney. You got Dr. Tiasan Johnson, who I hope all of you know who he is. The Green Gorilla, Dr. Ronald. You have these brilliant men here, these educated men, these very intelligent men who are versed in this knowledge. And basically what they're doing is they're explaining to you sociology. This is what you're doing. See, the books haven't caught up to the reality that we live in right now. That's why you still have these so-called Pan-Africanists telling you, oh, you just need to marry these baby mamas and be a man and this, that, and the other. But the reality is, no, I can't do that to myself. They don't know that the facts on the grounds have changed. It's 54% of black men, you know, are single, and you don't have children. That means you guys are the leftover men. At least 80% of black women have children. Y'all don't even have kids. So you're going to die alone. Would rather you, let me tell you this is what's so crazy. They would rather you die alone than date a woman from another country, even if she is of African descent. They would rather you die alone than date another woman who is of another ethnicity. Hell, they would applaud you if you married a white woman or someone like that. They would curse you. But if you end up being one of those members of the alphabet community, they would applaud you and tell you how strong you are and how brave you are. This is how backwards we are. And that's why I tell you, brothers, man, you got to stand up straight, plant your feet in the ground, have some backbone, because they will lead you down the path of destruction. This is what happens when you allow your Eve, right? You allow the snake to get in Eve's ear and she can persuade you to do anything. That's the snake talking to you. Because the brother brought up what we was talking about earlier. We were talking about Adam and Eve. That's why as a man, you got to follow God. You got to figure out what it is God wants you to do and do that. As the Muslims say, submit to the will of the Most High, submit to the will of Allah. I just say, figure out what your purpose is and then do that. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Look, we are an hour in. I'm going to run another commercial. We're going to come back with DMPA. I hope you guys are enjoying these commercials. I like the commercials, man.
Commercial wicked, man. Up. Commercial up, man.
I got a good one for y'all, man. Get the likes up, man. We'll be right back in a minute.
Right now, she and I are negotiating. I'm trying to get her to do some dances for me. Some of them sweet, sexy Latina booty dances. Let's go talk about it. Yep, that's it.
All right, y'all make sure y'all get the likes up, man. Get the likes up, man. Don't make me have to run these commercials again just to get the likes up. I shouldn't have to do all that. We having a serious conversation, and I gotta y'all hurting my heart. Okay, don't make me do all that. I ain't got a contribution. $2. Can I get a $2 cash app? How about $2? That's all I need. Let me get 10 people with $2, man, for the commercial fund, man. But anyway, DMPA, man, what would you like to add to this conversation, brother?
First off, blessings, Uncle D, for all that you did for Kevin Samuels' image. You fought the battle for us. You helped a lot. I'm in the DC area, and a lot of us brothers were single, childless professionals trying to figure this out. And we had guys like you, guys like Kevin Samuels, and the way that you were, it was an example of how, if you mess with one, you're going to mess with all of us. You know what I'm saying? So blessings to you, Uncle D, that you were that down, that loyal. And it's just an example, guys. Someone messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. You know what I'm saying? And Uncle D, he was letting them determine how low he was going to go. He didn't make one cheap shot. If you cheap shot one of us, we'll go there. So blessings to you, sir. Blessings to you, because it was really helping me move forward from losing. I call him St. Kevin now. I
appreciate all the work. All praises go to the Most High, man. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you finish. The only thing Africans, and I'm gonna have another blackety black moment. Okay, I know I got the KS fans here. I know y'all here, but remember, this page was originally for black men, and so my core group is black dudes. So give me a blackety black moment. The only thing Africans on this planet suffer from is a lack of unity. If we would just be unified and we would just show unity, they couldn't have captured one of us and sold the other one into slavery. They wouldn't be able to give one of them this and then that one turn their back on this one. Even during the enslaved period, if they give this one privileges to the house, he gonna snitch on everybody on the plantation who wants freedom. You understand what I'm saying? Unity is what we lack. What you saw happen was you saw a black man stand up for another black man. And whether you like him or not, he's still my brother. I got a badass cousin named Teran. Love him to death. He was a horrible child. We were both horrible children. We were horrible. We would steal from the local school, steal from the store. All the bad things you heard about bad children, we were them. But the thing is, you wasn't going to do nothing to him while I was around. I don't care how bad he was, because he belonged to me. He was my brother. He was my cousin. You see what I'm saying? I'll take my cousin behind closed doors and I'll chastise him myself. But what I'm not going to have is somebody else chastising my brother, my child. You understand me? My friend. You understand me? Because he belongs to me. And when all black men start realizing that's us that they're chastising. See, Kevin Samuels, once he died, it wasn't about Kevin Samuels anymore. It was about a black man being castigated and lynched in public. That's what that was about. Because all these women went beyond Kevin Samuels. They was making up stuff that he never said, just so they can lash out at him. I recognize that. And unfortunately, a lot of other black men chimed in on that to try to bash the brother. They don't realize you seeing things with a narrow scope. They did the same thing with Bill Cosby. You understand me? They did the same thing. They do it all. They did it with Michael Jackson. They do it all the time. You guys have to begin to recognize that this is, again, another blackety black moment. Racism is a team sport. You understand? So the last thing, who do you think is going to win the game? The team where everybody's unified on the other side, or the team where people on your same bench are fighting, they throwing Gatorade at each other and beating the coaches up on their side? That's not how this works. We're going to lose this battle. Unity is the most important thing. And that's what you saw an example of. I hope you'll take that with you, DMPA, through your life. Remember that. Remember what you saw me do.
Yeah, and that's why about it is you had so many shows during that period. I've watched them all. I've sent them all to other people. And I'm like, this is what it needs to look like. So thank you for doing that. Thanks for capturing as much as you could on stream, because, it's just an example of how it's done. So I really appreciate that. On the subject about that woman getting raped, because Kevin Samuels, particularly with black women. Kevin Samuels got a woman to admit that the black woman is more important than the black community, and how that manifests itself, my opinion is the struggle. Women inherently see the struggle as part of who they are, and they never have a way out of it. And so when a woman wins, it doesn't matter what color she is, particularly if she's black, but it doesn't matter. Black women, they're so in love with the struggle, and it's part of they divide themselves off onto into their own little subculture or whatever. But struggle is a part of it, and they don't want to see anyone win, especially other women.
So let me slow you down, because you said so much. You said so much. So remember when I told you female-owned group preference? That's part of what the brothers call red pill knowledge. What I tell you guys in my books, and if you guys want to check the books out, I've been selling a lot of these books. I don't know how much longer they're gonna last. You can always get them on Amazon, but I have some copies, some autographed copies. I refer to it as, or I say one of my rules is that women always get along except when they don't. But you got to understand that there's a competition that goes between women of different ethnic groups. You see, that's why a black woman will get mad when a white woman takes a black man, because she just took one of our kings. It's a competition between them. A Latina woman just took one of our kings. So part of it is that competition. So you hit something. Remember, they all get along except when they don't. If they can find a common ground, they will. But at the point where they have to separate, they will. Women are two-faced like that. So you hit a really good point. But go ahead, brother. I want you to finish your statement.
Because even when I'm in the DC area, I'm dating, and there's one of the best. And I wish that Kevin would have been alive to hit on. He was talking about the averagers and all the different archetypes, and everything he was talking about was cute. Gentlemen, you got to look out for the women who are social workers, PhDs in psychology, sociology, because they're so in love with the struggle that all they can do with you as a man is try to fit you into the struggle somewhere. They're in love with the struggle their whole lives, and there's no way out. So I guess I'm gonna bookend it with saying one of the best parts about yourself, Kevin Samuels, is Uncle D. You help the people that you talk to. You help them recognize, okay, here's how you get here, but you help them ask the question, what are you going to do about it now?
Right.
Because too much of the black community, particularly black women, they're so concerned with how we got here and the history and this and that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's Kevin Samuels, people like yourself that say, okay, let's accept all that. Okay, sure. The stuff that isn't BS. What are you going to do about it now? And if you're with a woman with the struggle, who won't get rid of the struggle, they will not ask themselves, all this difficulty I'm at, what am I going to do about it?
Right.
And they have no answer in any way, shape, or form of the problems in their life. It's like they're so concerned on, this happened, racism, this and that, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And guys like Kevin were like, okay, what are you going to do about it now? And they don't have an answer.
Because they've been so used to playing the victim role, man. That's the only song they can sing.
Yep.
But what I ask you guys to do is be warriors. I ask you to be men. Warriors don't sit down and die just because the adversary is bigger or stronger. You fight anyway. And if you die in that fight, you die in that fight. But at least you lived free and you died well. And that's one of the things I say to you guys: live free and die well. Don't die like a coward. Don't die like a victim. You fight. And it does not necessarily mean using axes and hammers and guns and swords. Sometimes you have to fight with your mind. Sometimes your biggest enemy is yourself. A lot of us we have had a crippling victim mentality imposed upon us. You can't do this because this big bad monster is out there, whether it's white supremacy or they whoever the hell they is, or
who is
you
they?
can't, they, right? And if you don't know who they is, and you're somehow a sellout, right? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
And you wonder why, and brothers who come from overseas and Africans who come from overseas, they don't know who they is. Because see, they to them was walking 5 miles to get water, and they is no longer here with them. They come to the United States and they're able to exploit everything because they don't have those mental shackles imposed upon them. You know who has a key to our mental? The brother brought up Bob Marley. Rest in peace. Big up Bob. You brought Bob Marley up.
Yeah.
He's got a song, and a lot of these brothers don't even know who Bob Marley is. I'm gonna be honest with you. But Bob said the shackles of mental slavery. You know who hold the keys right now to that? We do. We hold our own keys to our own shackles of mental slavery, and we refuse to unlock those shackles.
Yes, indeed.
You know, that's why Kevin would tell you all the time, get therapy. You know, me, you know, I may have some different advice, but I think therapy is important, you know, but I'm gonna make you work through it. I don't care. We just don't accept excuses over here. I don't care how bad you think things are, you keep fighting and keep pushing forward. It's a hard way, but it leads to an outcome that you can live with. But thank you so much, DMPA. We're gonna go to tradition.
If I can say one last time, Uncle T.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
Peace and blessings to you, sir. Thank you so much for all you did these last couple of weeks or whatever. Thank you so much. Blessings to you, sir.
Thank you, brother. I'm tired. I'm gonna take a little break soon. I still actually I haven't had a chance to mourn, you know. So I might disappear for a couple of weeks, just to kind of clear my head out and come back because it's
well deserved, man. Well deserved, man.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Let's go to tradition versus modern talks. Welcome, sir. What would you like to add to this conversation?
I just want to say thank you, first of all, because you did a lot of work since his passing, and you took up a mantle for a lot of guys looking at videos, and now you are in this picture next to him, of course, as his partner, of course, as his brother. And I appreciate you. And I honestly say, as a Christian, I'm just thankful because, like I said, I don't hear this in the church. So it's like I'm trying to find this. It's like I shouldn't have to be looking outside, but most likely it's going to happen. So I'm thankful for your content and also being able to speak on the things most men are not even getting when their kids growing up for their fathers. My dad never taught me this. He's from the motherland. You see what I'm saying? And it's a lot of indoctrination from what they were told, and they believed it. And I was told this growing up, speaking from a first generation born African American from my family. And and you spoke on divorce, and I'm thankful that I didn't let that divorce situation, take my life, because I was fighting those mindsets of how to understand how am I in this position if I never thought I was going to be through this. 'Cause I told you, I think I mentioned before to you that I waited towards marriage as a virgin. Kind of like, shout out to my guy Cheeky. We all have this conversation before on the platform. So I'm thinking about, wow, not many guys are waiting. And I heard his story, bro. I lost only one person I've been with for my life. That was commitment, and that was that marriage with her. So I thought I did the right thing, but therapy was a big thing Kevin was talking about, and I made sure to even go get another therapy session when he was still alive to make sure there was nothing left over, no residue, because I didn't want that to affect my outcomes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for what you've done so far as a brother, and also, being from a place where it's hard to see this happening, because a lot of people are coming up and now saying, we can't hear this stuff. It's like, we can't get this. Like, why do we have to not hear this? We need this. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have this conversation, because a lot of brothers are like single, like you said, 56% or something is single right now and child.
And without children, right.
And I've been saying this for a while, and I told my pastors, I told different people, like, we gotta talk to the men, especially the minorities, the men, of course, because there's a lot of us who haven't got these talks. And like I said, I'm waiting for marriage. As I told people, I always say that's my goal, is to be married, do it the right way. That's my goal as a believer. But I'm thankful for what you've talked on so far, and I've always tried to tune in at work while I'm working hard and just, taking notes on what you're saying and just memorize it and just go back and listen to some stuff you say. And Uncle D, I appreciate you, and I appreciate Uncle K. Rest in peace. And I just want to say thank you again for that, man, for being on this topic and talking on this, because I'm not trying to get a modern woman. I'll be honest. I want a traditional woman, and I want to put the.
Well, that's a wonderful thing, man. I want you brothers to be married. Like, I would never talk to you brothers in a way that I would not talk to my own sons. I have 3 boys. I want them to be married. Now, my preference is that they marry women of African descent. That is my preference. Okay? That is my preference. I want them to marry women of African descent. but I'm not so concerned what part of the world those women are from. They can be women from the continent. They can be women from the Caribbean. They can be women from Central America. They can be women from South America. That said, if my sons decide to marry some woman who is fit, feminine, and loves them and takes care of them, who am I to stand in this man's way? At some point, your sons will grow up and you'll be their father, but they'll also be your equal. Some of our sons can kick our butt when they get older. You see what I'm saying? So it's the wisdom that you imparted upon them and the lessons that you gave them. Hopefully they follow, but each man has to chart his own course. You are free. You are free men. And I don't want you to ever let anybody steal that away from you. You are free men. I don't care where we came from. Everybody on this panel, black men, whether you're from the Caribbean, African, we all have a certain slave past, but that's the past. Are we gonna keep looking in the back? Are we gonna keep looking behind us? There's a reason why you don't look behind you when you're moving forward, because you're not going there. You're going forward. So let's begin to do this. Let's begin to accept the fact that we are free men, and we have to begin to move forward. And you know, I think that was an important message too. These ladies trying to hold you. And what Kevin did was he basically was showing you how these women were keeping you in this bondage, shame, insults, the guilt to be right, holding you to double standards. I can have a bunch of kids out of wedlock, but you got to take care of them. But if you don't, then you're less than a man. Remember the stuff that we were dealing with. You had these panderers coming up telling us we should be ashamed that we don't take care of these children from lesser men that these women decided to be with and accept all her issues. And we're basically the one who do what? We're supposed to provide them with the therapy that they need, as opposed to them correcting themselves and then coming to us as fit, feminine women who are ready to be wives. And so I appreciate the man for his work. I didn't know Kevin his whole life. I actually appreciated the man's work and happened to be called up to help him try to turn what we have in this virtual world into something tangible, because that's what I'm good at doing, building businesses. I'm not a YouTuber. I have a business. You know, I have a law firm. I make about $30,000 a week practicing law, you see, and it took me 22 years to get to that point. I'm not a YouTuber. I come here because I think it's important that black men who have succeeded in this world come and talk to other black men who are trying to get there, especially the younger brothers that are here. So that's why I'm here. And on top of that, I want to put these good messages out there so that they will come back to me and my sons. I put messages of life out, and I try to breathe life into black men, because if you breathe life into black men, guess what? Then that will come back to you. Some of you guys may give counsel to my sons or my grandsons. My granddaughter or somebody might marry one of your granddaughters, and you'll be the elder there to talk to them. You see what I'm saying? Even if you don't know it's my child, but this is how unity starts. So I appreciate all this, man. Y'all got me over here. This ain't what I wanted to talk about, but I appreciate all y'all wonderful statements. You understand? Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, man. Blessings to you, man. Enough respect, man.
Thank you.
Thank
David Shakur
Thank you so much, Lil D.
David
Stay safe.
patiently waiting. I want to get David in, but we're going to take a quick break, David. We'll be right back. Y'all make sure y'all get the likes up. You know what time it is. It's roll call time.
Hey, I'm about to show you something. get enough.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Slim Thug and the Boss Hog Outlaws from H-Town, man. Let me use that without hitting me with that copy strike, man. Big shout out to
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, man, you know, if y'all appreciate what I'm doing, man, make sure you hit the #1 button. Let's keep this thing going. We're hour and 25 minutes in. We going pretty quick. David Shakur, welcome, sir. You've been patiently waiting so long. Thank you so much for coming on. What would you like to add to this conversation?
Well, thanks for having me, Uncle D. What's going on to all the fellas on the panel? First of all, I want to say Kevin was like a mentor to me.
Peace.
And I think, like he said, no matter what, you know, black man tells the truth, brings you data, facts, statistics, they're not going to like it. It don't matter who it comes from. So, and I'm in his Patreon group also, and he talked about having a group, like 3 to 5 men. And somebody asked him, like, how do you protect your name, your image, etc.? And he said, authenticity. And so I think that's what Uncle D shows us, that it's important to have people that even when you're not here, they can stand up for you, speak your name in good faith, and back it up by logic and stuff like that. So it's really unfortunate to see people on social media laughing at his death or whatever, and it's unfortunate because that brother shares our reflection, and to see our sisters and other women doing that kind of stuff is like, it's disheartening. But it makes me as a black man ask, like, I'm supposed to marry something like that. I'm supposed to get with something like that. Cause if I say something, you know, that's me. You know, that's me. If I'm saying the same thing he's saying, I'm backing it up. And as far as men in that position, like he coined the perfect term, sign language: shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. I literally got in an argument with one of my female relatives. I forgot how, I think it was Father's Day, maybe a year or two ago. And I'm bringing the data, the facts, and nothing I said, oh, it's the tone. And it's like, no matter what I said, I was never right. So I think me personally, I'm trying to travel to, you know, one of the places, you know, that Uncle D talk about, like Colombia or DR. I'm focusing on legacy now, because it's like, how you supposed to get with women who don't want you? And like he said, you know, the people that like the black on black, I'm cool, I'm with it. But if they don't want to be wise, what you supposed to do?
You brought up a great point, brother. And like, I don't think the women realize that. Well, here's the thing. There's a backlash that's coming to the modern women in general, and to specifically to Black American women, because remember, he was ours. You know, he was skinny, he was awkward. You know, he got himself together. We all could identify. We all knew a Kevin Samuels back in high school. You see what I mean? Or college, or we know him from our job. We know a dude like that. And we liked the way he had, you know, hooked himself up. You know what I mean? And we liked what he was doing. And for them to just trounce upon him, just like David said, like, well, if you're going to say that about him, and I'm saying the same thing, you're going to say that about me. And you see yourself in him. And I don't think these lovely ladies realize that this was like the camel, this was like the straw that broke the camel's back. You got, and let me lay it out. Here's what's different now than 20 or 30 years ago. Now we got the internet. So brothers see other brothers traveling around. Now, brothers, 64% of Black men are in the middle class, which means you got disposable income. That's what that means. 54% of you are unattached. You don't have children. You don't have wives. Maybe you got a little chick you talking to, but for the most part, you're not attached to anybody, which means at any given moment, you can hop on a plane and bounce if you so chose, or you can not date or do whatever you want to do, but you got options. And on top of that, this ain't the segregation period. This is not blacks over here, white over there. The admixture is everywhere. Some of y'all went to school with more white folks and Hispanic folks than Black folks. So you used to it. You're not like my generation. My generation was Generation X. I went to Manual Arts High School in South Central LA on Vermont Avenue and Martin Luther King Boulevard. You understand? And it was us and some Mexicans over there, and that was it. Y'all go to school in the suburbs, y'all moving around, they really can't scare y'all with that white, they can't scare you. Hell, look, Minister Farrakhan's son has a white daughter, a white wife. You see what I'm saying? If he couldn't stop it in his family, you can't stop it. It's happening. And so all that's happened is, and the millennials, the Generation Z, the alphas, they're not race loyal. Generation X was the last generation of people that had that race loyal breeding in us. And it wasn't really the women, it was just the men. So what's happening? The last prophet who was raised in that race loyalty, he's gone. You're not going to get nobody from Generation Z talking about, yeah, marry your own women. It's not going to happen. They're going to say, marry whoever treats you well, whoever is good to you. And these women don't realize that they just pushed y'all over the edge. This how y'all gonna treat us? You got a man trying to correct you and telling you, hey, you in violation over here. Men don't like this. And a high value man, which means a successful man, a man who's invested in himself and all, he's not gonna take that from you. And y'all crapping on this man? A man who's been a plumber, electrician, he's making $80,000, $100,000 a year, he's got his own business. He don't have to deal with that. And y'all crapping on this man? He's basically trying to get the best of black men to come back to the black community. That's all Kevin Samuels was doing. And he was basically telling black American women, you got to compete. You got to compete for these men. If you don't, they're going to go to other people. He worked with black men for 5 years. He built these men up. And then he realized very quickly, a lot of these women that I'm trying to send them to aren't even marriage material. So then he quickly pivoted and started helping black American women and say, look, you need to do this, that, and the other. Or these men that I'm building up over here are going to leave and go find women from other races. But they didn't want to hear it. So now what you think has happened? The prophet is dead. You understand? And again, this man is dead now. And so we're left to look at how he was crapped on. Men are not going to want to be with women like that, man. That's the backlash. That's where we are. So, David, you guys, man, this has been really probably one of the most poignant conversations we've had on this broadcast in a while. And you guys owe it. You've done so much. And I just want to thank you all. We'll run a quick commercial. We'll come right back and we'll wrap this thing up. But you guys hit all the points, man. Let me see if I can make y'all smile, man. Y'all say big shout out to my homegirl Heideley from DR, man.
Tengo video. Mami, ¿tú te gusta mi? ¿Cómo es este? Sí. Mucho. Ok. Hace calor aquí. ¿Tú no miedazo? Mucho calor. Ok. Yo me gusta. Yo no quiero regresar a Estados Unidos, muy frío allá. Quiero ir a Colombia conmigo. Muy frío, pero es muy bien para comprar ropa y otra cosa. Ay, mi amor, tu culo muy grande. Ok, tú quieres más ropa.
All right, you guys, man. I hope y'all appreciate these commercials. Big shout out to the commercial fund. If you like the commercials, I'll pull up some more, man. It takes me a long time to get those commercials together because I got to do stuff. And Uncle D is technically challenged. If anybody out there can help me with the tech stuff that I do, I appreciate it. Because one thing Kevin Samuels did tell me to do is you got to get a better camera and better microphones and all that sort of stuff. So I got the microphone, but I do need a little help with tech stuff. I'd like to work with some people who I can just put some stuff in the Dropbox. You can put it together.
Can I get the instance, man?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Y'all just email me at sperlingdennis@gmail.com. But anyway, look, guys, we started off talking about this young Latina woman named Allie. She's 27 years old. She married a 50-year-old white man, that high value male, great guy, apparently, according to her. And then she got married because of Kevin Samuels. He wanted her initially to have the baby, and then he'd marry her. I understand why, because he'd probably been married before, been in a relationship with a woman, backed out of having the baby for him. He ended up getting a divorce. I get it. I understand why. But Kevin said, no, That's not how you're gonna do it. So she ended up getting married. Now she's pregnant, and she's saying, I'm a better person because of it. She said, I'm submissive now because of it. Now, mind you, if you guys didn't know, Kevin Samuels was not Latino. He was not white. He was not Asian. He was a black man from Oklahoma. Oklahoma, United States, Oklahoma City specifically. And, you know, but it seems to me, and I'm observing that his fan base is predominantly non-Black American. His fan base is in Africa, they're in the Caribbean. Even if they are in this country, the vast majority of his fans are not Black American. They're in the UK, they're in Australia. Australian guy said, you know what, he could sell out a concert. He could sell out a stadium here in Australia. So what do I think is going to happen? I think that these other groups of people are going to benefit more from Kevin Samuels' teachings and his hard work than we are. Now, some of us, of course, will, but I just think we're missing out on what his intention was, because we needed it. We needed it most. That's why he was brought up amongst us. God always brings up a person from amongst the people who need the help. And God brought him up at this time in 2022, 2020, to give us this message. And this message has been put out there in the world. And just like the Jewish people who turned their back on Jesus, you know, and of course, I'm not equating Kevin Samuels with Jesus. I'm only giving you, so I don't want to make my Bible thumpers mad at me. I'm just pointing out the fact that it's very similar to that. You know, that we are turning our back on this message, this great message, which is helping all these other women get married and all these other men fulfill, you know, or get the outcomes that they want, and we're missing out on it. You know, that's it. And I just think at least let's point that out so we can bring another couple of people on, so more people will see, you know what, maybe I should pay attention to this guy. Maybe I shouldn't pay attention to all that rhetoric that says he was a chauvinist or a sexist. He didn't like women or that women or whatever. Maybe let's just listen to the man and hear what he has to say. I challenge each and every one of the Kevin Samuels haters that are going to listen to this video. Listen to one of his videos that are up on YouTube from beginning to end. Listen to one. And if you can make it through that one, listen to two. And if you can make it through two, listen to three. And then come back and comment next time. That's what I want you to do. And then I want you to point out the lie, and point out where he was being a sexist or a chauvinist. All I saw was a man trying to help his people. Unfortunately, his people don't recognize the help he was providing. And I'm not talking about all of y'all, because we got some dedicated KS fans in here of all colors. But what I'm saying is, y'all, we missing out on this treasure. The man helped me get married. And y'all see what I was dealing with. I put it up on the camera. These are the type of women I'm dealing with. And he made me believe that I could get an American woman and actually have a great relationship, which is a good thing, you know. And if he can convince me, he should be able to convince all of y'all, man. But either way, man, I love you guys. God bless you all. Big shout out to DJ Zion Love. He came through, man.
Salute, man. Peace and blessing. One love.
All right, man. Yes, the Barracuda.
Stay safe and stress free.
Yes,
peace and blessing to you, man. Peace and blessing to you.
David Shakur, Tradition, man. Thank you so much, guys. As I always say, man, this is Uncle D, and you know, I'm out.